Welcome back to The Real Story. We've all heard about the Caitlin Clark effect on women's basketball. And if you haven't, you should, because ever since joining the WNBA, ticket sales, merchandise sales, TV ratings, interest in the league have all skyrocketed. We're talking about one person who has taken this league and just lifted it to a whole new level of interest. Now, today's real story is not only about Caitlin's greatness, it's about her teammates' split-second decision, which made her an overnight sensation. Let's look at some headlines. Caitlin Clark's bodyguard, Sophie Cunningham, reaches big milestone. That was in Men's Journal. Sophie Cunningham proudly defends protecting the star player of the WNBA, Barstool Sports. Fever's Sophie Cunningham celebrates hitting 1 million TikTok followers after sticking up for Caitlin Clark. This was on Fox. So look, here's what happened. There's a game between the Connecticut Sun versus the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark's team. Now, Connecticut took aim at Clark all game long. And at one point, Connecticut Sun guard J.C. Sheldon poked Clark right in the eye.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Now, look, this can happen, but let me tell you, you got to understand, this is a contact sport. It's not meant to be a contact sport, but look, there's a lot of pushing, shoving, bumping up against each other. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about targeting a player time and time again. And during this game, another Suns player shoves Clark to the floor. So let's take a look.
Oh, and Marina Mabry's going to get ejected.
Now, all right, you're seeing what's happening here. They're going after her, and this isn't isolated. This has been going on her whole rookie year, and now it's going on in her second year. You can get poked in the eye, but this was not an accident. These are people going after her, sticking their fingers in her eyes, shoving her to the ground, blindsiding her, knocking her down. And clearly, these are players jealous of Clark's success and fame, and they have been playing dirty since the minute she joined the league. She came in highly touted. I mean, she redefined women's basketball at the college level. She comes in touted, all the attention's going to her. And instead of people saying, hey, we're moving games to bigger arenas, we're going from these kind of sweaty gyms and small arenas, they're having to reorder our schedules. They're putting us in bigger arenas. We're getting bigger television audiences. It's putting us on the map. They should be saying, hey, good for you. We're going to compete like hell, but thank you. We're getting the attention we have long deserved. No. They're going after her. They're so resentful, so petty, so jealous. 10 games into her rookie season, Chicago Sky guard Chennedy Carter blindsided Clark on an inbound play, and her teammates were ecstatic. They're acting as though Carter hit a game-winning shot. They're high-fiving each other, they're laughing, they're talking. Last season, 17% of flagrant fouls were against Clark. 17%. I mean, there's how many players? And 17% are all against Clark. Now, you got to be asking yourself, where are the refs? Look, I grew up in team sports, grade school, junior high, high school, and college. And I've known a lot of referees. I've served as captain, which means you meet with the refs. You talk to them before the game. They say, here's how this is going to go. Here's what we're watching for. This is what we're going to call. This is not what we're going to call. And so they have meetings beforehand. So you can bet your bottom dollar they've sat in a room and said, okay, we got Clark in the game. What are we going to do? And here's Clark getting run over during her rookie season. NBA reporter Steve Serby wrote, it is one thing to be tested, it's another to be targeted. Okay, now, back to the Sun Fever game. It's like these referees are blind. Clark's teammate, Sophie Cunningham, finally has enough of Clark being beaten up.
That's a flagrant foul.
Clearly, Cunningham committed a hard foul on Sheldon, hard grabbing her by the head. Some say she grabbed her by the hair, I don't know, but she clearly got a hold of her coming in and forced her to the ground. Cunningham got ejected and fined by the WNBA. All this other stuff that's been going on against Caitlin Clark, it's like they don't see it, They choose not to react to it. But this happens, she gets ejected and fined. But by sticking up for her teammate, her popularity goes through the roof. She picked up like 1.1 million followers on TikTok instantly. Her jersey sells out because people are saying, yes, finally. NFL star and Eagles player A.J. Dillon called Cunningham his new favorite player, compared what she did protecting Caitlin Clark to protecting your star quarterback. He said, look, I'm a fan. I like that approach to the game and just being a tough player for the team, not letting anybody push your teammates around. I like that. I agree with him. I like it. Here's what Cunningham said.
During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
Okay, so what's the lesson here? I mean, are we advocating violence here? Did she do the right thing? Is it about two wrongs making a right? I don't think so. This is not about playing dirty. It's about standing up and demanding to be treated with dignity and respect. It's about protecting others. Now, Clark doesn't complain about this. She doesn't whine about it. She doesn't go to the refs every time and complain. She doesn't get in the press conferences afterwards and whine. She hasn't put on her victim hat. She just keeps showing up. She just keeps playing and going on. And every time she gets bullied or beat up, she says, hey, it's part of the game. I grew up playing basketball with boys. You got to find a way to hold your own. And then she said, quote, I grew up with two brothers. Things were very physical, a lot of blood, a lot of tears, whatever it was. But, there's a lesson here for everybody. This goes beyond sports. This is about bullying. And when you start talking about bullying, you start talking about bystanders. And you can either be a bystander or you can be an upstander. And what Sophie Cunningham didn't do is what we need to talk about. She didn't stand by passively and let her teammate, her friend, get picked on endlessly. And so many people do exactly that. They don't have the guts, the nerve, the commitment to step up. And when you see this going on, whether it's on a team or in your life, you got to ask yourself, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? Because if you're standing there and you're doing nothing, you're being a bystander, not an upstander. Sophie Cunningham was an upstander. And there are three kinds of bystanders. There are followers. These are assistants. These are people, they don't initiate it, but they get in on it. They get in on it and participate once it takes place. And then there are supporter bystanders. They don't actually participate, but they turn a blind eye to it. And that's about 20% of the crowd. And then there are defenders. They don't like it. They might go get help, or they might actually get directly involved. And then about a quarter of the people, they just don't get involved. They just stand back. They don't want to go around it. They walk away. They pretend it's not happening. What do you do in your life? That's my question to you. When you see this happening, when you see a friend that's maybe getting picked on the internet or marginalized and bullied at work, or maybe in your neighborhood, what do you do? Are you a bystander? And if you are you a follower that kind of joins in, or do you just turn a blind eye to it? Or do you step up and do something about it? Has it happened to you? Have you been bullied? Were you bullied in school? Are you being bullied right now? Anywhere between 12 and 25% of people have been bullied in their life at some point, and that may be you right now. What do you want to do? What do you want people to do for you? Sophie Cunningham saw her teammate getting picked on, targeted again and again. And while the ref stayed silent, she said, no, not on my watch. That's not dirty play. That's showing character. That's being an upstander. And sometimes the most powerful person on the court isn't the one scoring the points. It's the one willing to take the hit for somebody else. What kind of person do you want to be in your life? Do you want to be passive? Do you want to turn a blind eye? Or do you want to step up and be somebody that can be counted on? That's the question you got to ask yourself. You got to be your own best friend. And if you want to have a best friend, be a best friend. That's the real question. And that's the real story. And if you want to hear some more real stories and hear them every day, make sure to follow and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Easy or hard, I'm going to talk about things that matter to people who care. And I'll see you next time. Hey, Dr. Phil here. My network, Merit TV, has it all.
Now, let me blow your mind.
Merit TV's got the news that matters.
The selection of a new pope.
Entertainment you crave.
Busted.
Everybody in a good mood today?
And live events.
Surprise.
What am I, chopped liver?
With serious punch.
Big shot.
Go to merittv.com and download the Merit TV app today.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. Your savings are at risk. With the economy on shaky ground, the dollar losing value, and a $2 trillion deficit, things could spiral. Don't wait for the worst. Take control of your financial future now. I trust Preserve Gold to safeguard my accounts, and I urge you to do the same. They're the only precious metals company I recommend. What are you going to do to protect what's yours? Claim your special offer and learn how to reinforce your financial future. Visit drphilgold.com to get your free precious metals guide from Preserve Gold. With gold prices recently breaking records and analysts predicting this trend to continue through 2025, you cannot afford to wait. As a bonus, you can get up to $15,000 with a qualified purchase from Preserve Gold. So don't wait. Visit drphilgold.com today.